such a great response with the segment that we filmed with Canine Assistants, and a lot of you wanted to know how the recipients that we interviewed are doing with their dogs now. So I'm back here at Canine Assistants with Jennifer Arnold. How are they doing?
They're doing great. We've heard good things. Everybody's starting to sort of settle in now to their home routine, and things are getting a little bit easier.
Especially, let's take us through Charlie.
Wonderful Charlie. Wow, what a great young man. He is doing beautifully with Meadow. They are very happy together. And, you know, it's an adjustment when you first go home. It's like bringing home a new family member. So it takes a little while, but they're adjusting really quickly. They've been pretty smooth sailing.
What about Kira?
Kira, it's been a little harder for Kira. You know, Kira's just very small and young, and Yukon is a great big dog. And it's taken him a while to figure out, you know, what he needs to be doing for Kira. But they are making great strides over the last few weeks, and they'll do great. Just a little longer adjustment period.
And Sam?
So Sam's doing really well with Etta. She's taking great care of him and vice versa, and they're doing beautifully.
It's got to feel good, hasn't it, when you hear these success stories. You spend time teaching these dogs, teaching the recipients to work with their dogs, and then they go home into real life and you get the good stories back. What you're doing is really making a difference.
You know, it does. It's a wonderful feeling, and honestly, we fall so in love with our families while they're here with us for those 2 weeks, that to think that we're able to send home not only the dogs that we have loved very dearly, but a little bit of ourselves is wonderful for us. It also, however, makes me focus on the waiting list and the fact that there's so many more people we have to reach.
How many people are on the waiting list?
We have about 2,700 people currently on the waiting list. However, we never discourage people from applying because it's not first come, first serve, and everybody knows that when they apply. We evaluate each applicant based on how much a dog can really do to help physically, socially, and emotionally, and medically, the recipient, and how good a home it is for one of our dogs. So, you know, people who really need us, I want them to apply anyway, and we're getting there as quickly as we can.
What really impresses me about this organization is the fact that you actually don't charge the recipients at all for their dog or for the training they receive. And in some cases, if the recipient is unable to pay for certain stuff that their dog needs, you provide that funding.
We'll do, you know, total lifetime upkeep for the dog if that's something the family requires. When we first started this program, my mom and I made this deal that it wouldn't be about money, because if you had told me when I was sick and I needed a dog so badly that I had to raise the money in order to get the dog, I would have gotten under my bed and not even tried. It was so far out of my reach at that point, and we don't even want to think about the money component. So our deal is that in lieu of monetary payment, you agree to do service to your home community, a minimum of 60 hours a year, using your dog for every year that you're together. It's sort of a pay-it-forward system that we love.
The other thing that impresses me about the organization is the fact that you train your dogs with positive reinforcement only. And as I was shocked to find out that a lot of assistance dogs programs still use confrontational methods to train their dogs. Now that seems to me very strange, especially when you're asking this dog to be in service to somebody, and yet you're forcing this dog into doing something potentially it doesn't want to do, whereas you're teaching the dogs to love what they're doing.
I mean, I think the thought of forcing any dog to work for a human being using, you know, punitive methods is horrifying. I have a serious moral issue with that. I think we've proven here that it can be done with great kindness, and I'm very hopeful that as years go along that more and more people will come our direction.
The fourth recipient that we interviewed was Allison, who has diabetes. How is she doing?
Allison and Stuart are incredible. together. It is absolutely remarkable. Stuart's only problem is that he's still having some trouble overnight alerting to high and low blood sugars. But you know, he falls asleep and he sleeps hard, he's tired. But at school, he's alerting, and during the day, he alerts to her high and low blood sugars perfectly. Now, things weren't easy when they first went home. Sometimes the very sensitive dogs, like Stuart is, very in tune, will develop, you know, peculiar concerns. For example, Stuart became absolutely terrified of ceiling fans. Not something we'd ever seen before. And it didn't take very long to get him over it. But I always have to remind people when they come here, they're getting a dog who has learned to do, you know, 89 to 91 different behaviors on cue. But they're not getting Lassie, and they're not getting a robot. And the more the dog thinks and worries, the more likely there are to be these little issues to work through when you get home.
So there are going to be teething problems potentially when a recipient takes their dog home.
Right.
That's what you expect.
Right, absolutely. And these dogs are still babies. I mean, one of my big things is that we graduate our dogs quite early. I feel very strongly about the depth of the bond that you get when the dog has not yet fully matured when they graduate. But it means I'm sending home young dogs who do naughty things and who develop, you know, fears that have to be dealt with. But the bottom line is we handle that together, and it works because it's worth it.
You're still there at the end of the phone if they need you.
We are so there.
What can people do if they want to help Canine Assistants?
Obviously, the biggest thing that we need is money. If people can go to our website, it's canineassistants.org, and there's a way to donate there. There's also, this month, we're very fortunate in September and October, people can donate without having to give money. There's a company called Cultivate Wines. And if you go on their website, and it's cultivatewines.com, you can vote for Canine Assistants. We're one of 30 charities up for a $50,000 grant. So it would be wonderful for us. And we would encourage people to please share that if possible.
Thank you. I think the work you do is incredible.
Thank you so much.
I wish you future success, and the people who get your dogs are the luckiest people in the world. Thank you so much.
Very sweet. Thank you.